All right, here we are, lesson 3, back at Kylie's easel. Okay, so this is sort of a work in progress, so I'm gonna try it a little bit differently today. I'm gonna show you something and then I want you to pause the video and do that question, okay? Then come back and we'll do the next one and we'll do it bit by bit that way, see if that works, okay? So first question today, we're still changing units, but now it's going to be units of area. So you should remember area equals length times width, right? So that'll come up later. But in the first question, all you need to do is times or divide by a factor of 10, which should be lickety-split easy for you guys. Remember, so if I have a number like 5.76 times 1,000, I count the zeros, 1, 2, 3, it's times, so my number's gonna get bigger. So I go 1, 2, 3, then I have to add a 0 there. So it'd be 5,760. If it's dividing, let's call it 176.43 divided by 100. I count the zeros, 1, 2, it's dividing, so the number's got to get smaller, so I go 1, 2, and I end up with 1.7643. Okay? Pause the video, go and do question 1. I'll see you back in a minute for question 2. Okay, question 2. You've got a bunch of squares. They're telling you that the dimensions are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter or 1 meter by 1 meter. Remember, area equals length times width. So in this case, you have 1 times 1 equals 1. One group of 1 is still 1, right? However, you have to pay attention to the units. This is centimeters. However, centimeters is measuring in a straight line. When we're doing area, we are not measuring in a straight line. What we're actually doing is measuring how many 1 centimeter cubes make this up. In this case, just 1 centimeter cube makes it up, okay? So when you do area, you're talking about squares. You're actually counting the little squares. So it's 1 centimeter squared. In this case, it'd be 1 meter squared, right? It's super important that you remember your unit and your square, okay? Go solve those 3 squares. Pause the video. Running out of paper. Okay. So you might have gotten a little tripped up on the 1 meter squared and how much it's worth in centimeters, okay? Remember that 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, right? Meter stick has 100 centimeters on it. So if you've got a square meter that's 1 meter by 1 meter, it's also 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters, right? So to find this area in centimeters, you're doing 100 times 100. I'm going to show you a trick. When you're multiplying numbers with lots of zeros on the end, okay, like 100 times 100, you can just multiply the first numbers. So in this case, it'd be 1 and 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Then you can just count up all the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, and add them at the end. So 100 times 100 is 10,000. So 10,000 centimeters squared is equal to 1 meter. 10,000 centimeters squared equals 1 meter squared. So for the next question, you've got to fill in a couple of blanks. I'm not going to ask you to pause it for that. But you need to change centimeters squared to meters squared or vice versa. What I'm going to recommend you do is write this 10,000 somewhere where it'll remind you what you're supposed to do on that question 3. Okay? Another paper. So we've got 270,000 centimeters squared equals how many meters squared, right? So I'm going from centimeters to meters. So the new units are bigger, which means it's going to take less of them to cover the same space, right? So that means that I'm looking for a smaller number. My options are only to multiply or divide. So to get a smaller number, I need to divide by 10,000. You guys know how to divide by 10,000. How many zeros in 10,000? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to skip the decimal 4 places, right? So our decimal's here at the end, and we're going smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it equals 27 square meters. 27.0000, but you don't need to write all those zeros. They mean nothing, right? See if I can flip this over and we can still see it. Gotta get more paper for tomorrow. Okay, can you hold that, Kylie? Just hold it in the back. Thanks. Okay, so pause the video, do those 3 questions where you're saying my new units are 10,000 times bigger or smaller, so I need less or more. So I divide or multiply. Go and do that question, pause the video. Okay, question 4. We're going to change these units, but you're going to do it in your head this time, okay? So we'll walk through the first couple. 500 meters squared is how many centimeters squared? Okay, I'm going from a big unit to a small unit. There's going to be way more centimeters needed to cover the same area. So that means my number has to get bigger. If it's going to get bigger, I'm going to multiply. And I know that the thing I have to multiply is 10,000 because there's 10,000 square centimeters in a square meter. So times 10,000. If I were you, I'd write your 10,000 over here so you have those 4 zeros ready to remind you. Okay? So my number's going to get bigger. My decimal's here because I know it's just a whole number 500. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I'm going to add 4 zeros, right? So I originally had 500, and then I'm going to add 4 more, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 5 million. My spaces are out of place, but I wouldn't be marking you on where your spaces are anyways. Okay? Second one is, actually, let's choose one where I'm going the other way so you can see. Okay, so 1,950 centimeters squared is how many meters squared? Now, I'm going from small to big, so it's going to take way less of these to cover the same space. So I need to divide, and I know that it's 10,000 because I've written it down to remind myself. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. My decimal's here. It's got to get smaller. So I'm going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's going to end up over there. Decimal 195. You can add the 0 or not add the 0. It makes no difference because it's at the end. Your choice. Okay? Pause the video. Go do those questions on number 4. Okay, last one. Super easy. All you have to do is say what unit they're talking about. So 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters, that's length times width, right? So we're going to end up with 4 centimeters squared. This is the important part. You've got to have centimeters squared. In another one, they've got 2 centimeters plus 2 centimeters. That's 4 centimeters. If I have 2 centimeters here, 2 centimeters there, I got 4 centimeters. No squared. We're just measuring straight lines. Then further down, they've got 2 somethings times 2 something. 2 meters is 4 meters squared. As soon as I see meters squared, I know that I'm multiplying meters together. So you need to fill in the unit. Okay? That's it for today. See you tomorrow. Kylie, are you going to turn this off or no?
Sorry.